What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. So this is the all new 2025 Infiniti QX80. This costs $108,000 and I've had it for 2 whole weeks experiencing what it's like living with Infiniti's flagship jumbo SUV. So with that said, let's get right into it, see what these last 2 weeks have been all about, and is this vehicle worth over 100 grand? Now, one of the biggest changes, the previous generation had that 5.6 liter naturally aspirated V8. New for 2025, you're gonna see a 3.5 liter V6 motor with 2 turbochargers. This thing is pumping out 450 horsepower with 516 pound-feet of torque, all-mode, all-wheel drive system with a 9-speed automatic transmission. This also weighs in around 6,000 pounds, but it can tow 8,500 pounds. Now, when we take a look at the styling, it does kind of resemble the previous generation. You're gonna see a lot of these rounded, exaggerated curves to it. You have this super sleek upper grille, has illuminated logo, really nice LEDs up above. The headlights are actually down below that. And then it is very massive up front. This is a big jumbo SUV with a lot of road presence. It doesn't look like anything else on the market. Now at the side profile, there is something about it that does look a little simple. You could almost not really tell what kind of car it is from the side. It's very understated, I would say. Aside from the fact that it is massive overall, it is very simple. You do have the clean vents here, the 22-inch wheels, a fixed set of running boards, power folding side mirrors. The door handles are really nice. They are power operating. They will pop outwards as you enter the vehicle and approach. So that is a cool, sleek touch for it. And then you have this really nice silver belt line across the underside of the windows, gets a little bit larger down below, and it wraps around the back. You're also gonna see this dip in the upper portion. At the back though, you're gonna get this really cool LED bar, Infiniti written out, and just once again, a really clean design in back. Trailer hitch is underneath this part right here, a little bit of silver trim, all of your sensors. Really sleek rear window with just that silver trim, and then the windshield wiper is gonna be located underneath the spoiler there. Now also with the lighting at night, it looks really cool with everything lit up. It illuminates the ground as well on the side with the Infiniti name to it. So it's got a cool style. It does carry over a lot of resemblance from the previous gen, just sleeker with a modern appearance. For the interior with the Infiniti QX80, it's pretty nicely appointed. Now there is going to be a lot of synthetic leather materials throughout the center, the whole upper and lower dashboard. There is plastic wood trim, it has kind of that open pore feeling. There's a lot of ambient lighting throughout it, which makes it look and feel very luxurious. It'll say Infiniti on the dash. You have these stripes, all the lighting around the silver trim. There is genuine leather though. These seats are real leather. You have a nice leather wrapped steering wheel, airbag cover as well. And then there's a micro suede throughout the center. You got it on the armrest as well. So it's pretty nicely appointed. However, for $108,000, we have a fabric headliner straight out of any other Nissan. So I wouldn't mind this all being this micro suede. It's a 6-figure car. I expect just a little bit more. Some of my only complaints with it, for the center, you have these 2 sections that you can open up. You have cup holders on one side, wireless phone charging right here. I did notice a lot of times while driving, especially if I'm messing with the climate or shifting the gears or something, I would accidentally hit this open just some way, shape, or form, which would kind of get a little annoying. I still like the use of space you get. Have a large center console as well. So it's pretty roomy in here. There's storage underneath the console. I wouldn't mind, honestly, maybe right under the screen, having just easier access to just put something small, aside from having to open the doors every time. One thing neat though, they've done their climate controls in a unique design with this screen right here. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan of touch screen everything in modern cars. Obviously, every manufacturer is going to it because it's simple, it's clean. Honestly, it's cheaper to produce touch screens versus having a bunch of buttons. But the unique thing they've done is made it to where these screens are actually giving you haptic feedback. So when I press something, you can see how it'll light up a little bit. However, nothing happens until I press the screen. So from here, you might be able to hear that a little bit of feedback. So it makes it to where it's actually a little bit easier to where I can kind of hover my finger around, see it touch different items, but then it doesn't make a change until I actually put a little bit of pressure on it. And then another really neat thing is the way they've done the steering wheel control. There's a roller dial, but it's not even mounted straight up and down or left to right. It actually goes with the design of your thumb. So just the ergonomics of how your thumb is always at this angle, that is where this is as well. And you can toggle left and right to control the screen in the center. You can even configure your Apple CarPlay, not only of course doing touchscreen, but you can use the roller dial to control everything on the screen from the basic built-in designs and the Apple CarPlay. Onto the second row, the QX80. So this is a jumbo SUV. You're only buying this if you have a family, kids, and people you're always hauling. This is certainly not a single person's car. So in back, I'm 5'11", sitting here. I do have plenty of legroom, and this is even with the comfort access sliding the seat backwards a little bit. So I have really good legroom. Headroom's pretty good too. Of course, you have the panoramic roof. You're gonna get an air vent up in the ceiling right here, and that's the only one you're gonna see. You have climate controls all throughout this center. Even with those heated and ventilated seats, we have a couple plugs as well. The center, we have a console with 2 cup holder storage and 2 more plugs. Now for the seats, they are all automatic. So you have buttons that you can do everything. This is fully reclined and slid back. I feel like it doesn't really slide back and farther back for the recline as other vehicles do. And since it's all power controls, there's no real manual overrides, which can be a drawback when it's time to fold these down. Now we have the audio system, Klipsche. I honestly don't know how to pronounce it. It's an interesting word, as you can tell. I've never seen that in other cars that we've filmed, so interesting brand. You're gonna have speakers in the headrest too, which are a nice touch, but it does sound really good. Now from here, door panel is gonna match the front. Like I said, configuring everything is on the interesting side. We have a button right here that you can just press one time. It will beep and do everything. So to get into the back, you press it, let it do its thing. And now we can climb into that third row. So I would really like, it's still going, I would really like a manual override. Same thing when you put it back. And now we're gonna let it do its thing, which is gonna take some time. That is my one drawback. So with luxury cars, yes, it's nice to think, press of a button, the thing does everything for you. But honestly, it takes more time to wait for electronics to do their thing than a manual lever. So I would much prefer at least some sort of manual. If you want to fold this down, I mean, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of extra time from the side to where this is, I don't know, for 100 grand, I want to be instant. So that's my one complaint. I want some manual controls. I know it sounds counterintuitive for luxury to have manual stuff, but I think quite honestly, it makes it a heck of a lot easier. You still do get the genuine leather back here, adjustable armrests, which is a great touch, and just the captain's chairs for this particular spec. So for the third row in the QX80, I have this seat all the way back and I still have legroom. So this is actually a useful third row for even grown adults. Really not all that bad. You do have power buttons where you can adjust your recline, and this gets it in a pretty good place. My head doesn't even touch the ceiling. I do have a nice armrest. There's air vents in the ceiling as well. Speakers are back here. There's gonna be 2 cup holders on the side with a USB-C port. You're gonna get both of that, same side. So from here, this isn't bad with the captain's chairs. Of course, I could stretch my leg out just a little bit, but this is not a bad place to go. And I still have access to press that button if I wanna get this seat out of the way. Now, one thing kind of interesting, if I stop that and put it back, there is a strap on just this seat. So from here, I can pull this and manually fold down this seat. I'm very curious why that seat does not have it. So passenger side, second row, you can manually fold down with a strap. Not accessible from the side of the car though. So this is particularly for the person sitting back here. I'm really confused why that is like that. But for me, I can at least fold that one seat back. So again, I'm not sure why it's like that. I think that is maybe the one drawback with the QX80 is just I want an easier way to maneuver all these seats when I'm not in the cargo space. Speaking of all the space you're gonna get back here, one thing I like is this shelf right here. So basically just kind of a block that will slide into these channels and lock itself in. And when you do that, there's little pins where we can pop that to give you a really good 2 layers back here. That's a pretty neat touch just because you are minimized when you have the third row up. But I can pop that and of course remove this all the way if you're not going to be needing it. And from back here, you have your carpeted floor mat, and underneath that, you're gonna get a little bit of hidden storage space. There's a full-size spare tire underneath the bumper, and we have some of that equipment right back here. But my favorite thing, while I don't like how you can't really maneuver the seats manually from the side, you have 4 separate buttons back here to maneuver these. So if I manually put the headrest down, you can press any of these buttons just for about a couple seconds, and everything is gonna fold down. Now that feature I like a lot. I think that makes it super easy. Takes a little bit of time, but honestly, if you're getting ready to load everything in, it is so quick and easy to press all the buttons and everything folds down nice and flat. You're also gonna see a button up above to adjust the air ride suspension, and then just another look at everything with just the second row up. Very quickly, we can pop everything up all at once. So what is it like driving in the new Infiniti QX80? So first off, if you're not used to big SUVs, this thing is big. When you're in here, you are up above pretty much all the other vehicles. Even when you are driving alongside a semi-truck, you're basically almost eye level with them. You're really not far off from even like a box van or something. So from my view, my vehicle is taking up a lot of the lane. So sometimes it's a little bit challenging to stay in your lane, I've noticed. But it rides really good. We're even on a twisty back road that I drive sports cars on. This is a really confident and comfortable vehicle, even when you're taking turns and traveling through some twisties. The suspension is really soft and it is really quiet. As you can tell, you don't really hear any wind noise. There's no road noise whatsoever. So it's really a nice place to be. It's effortless to drive. It's just smooth. And when you're dropping this kind of money on anything that is supposed to be a luxury vehicle, you know, the quiet, the comfort levels need to be top notch to justify a six-figure price tag. And this has that. It's got the smoothness to it. It's got the refinements. These seats are ultra comfortable too. They're very well padded. Armrests are in a great place. You can genuinely sit back and relax. There is massaging seating. I'm not a fan of massaging seats, but they seem to do what they need to do for those of you who like that sort of feature. But it's got a good view around. You know, visibility is good, especially with that rear view mirror. That helps out a lot. And it's a nice place to be. The steering has a good weight to it to where it's not hard. It's just a comfortable place to be. The use of storage, I wouldn't mind. Like I said, just a little bit extra right here. And again, whenever I mess with this or something, it's really easy to press this and open it up. So that's my only one complaint. The drive modes, they don't do all too much. You know, eco mode makes it a little bit less touchy on the throttle. I've been getting around 18 miles per gallon, so not the greatest for the road trips. You know, even though it's a twin turbo V6, we got a lot of weight to pull around, so it's not going to be anything all too efficient. But when you step on it moves. It packs a nice punch, and you have the paddle shifters too if you want to take a little bit more control over the transmission. But I like how it is peppy. I know there's going to be people who want a V8 in here, maybe the old naturally aspirated one, or like some of the competition these days with twin turbos. But honestly, this V6 packs a really good punch, and hopefully in this darker lighting you can see the Infiniti lit up a little bit. You can see the ambient lighting just a tad, but it drives nice. That is one of the biggest things that I've noticed. Can't complain with that. And then next up, using the interior while driving, I like how you can use the touch panel on the right side for both of the screens. There's no more center rotary dial or anything like that you've seen in the past. It is a hard reach. You definitely have to reach forward to get to the screen itself. It's a large screen, so as a driver, you're definitely, you know, moving a lot to make any changes. But when you kind of work this a little bit more, it's really not all too bad. There's even a built-in dash cam, which is a pretty neat touch. And you can take photos and record events and things like that. So that's kind of a neat touch that this car has. Other vehicles do have that as well. But from a driver's perspective, I think the biggest thing is, does it drive and ride like a luxury vehicle should? I don't think it's really any different than an Escalade or an X7. It rides very similar. And the use of materials, things you touch, you have a lot of nice materials. There are the synthetics though, so maybe for this price point, maybe all of this should be 100% genuine leather everywhere, micro suede covering the headliner. You know, comment below, do you guys think that? However, you know, your doors are gonna get rained on, so I don't know, maybe there's a good blend of you want some synthetics and some real leathers in a vehicle like this. But nonetheless, I wouldn't mind a little bit of that. There is also some piano black. I know a lot of people are not a fan. You're gonna get the fingerprints all over. There's already dust on this. It's only been a little while. So yes, that is one thing you'll notice. So ending thoughts now with the all new, completely redesigned 2025 Infiniti QX80. Is this a six-figure luxury jumbo SUV? Is it worth the money? You have some steep competition. If you want that old school jumbo SUV and one of the best names in the class, you can buy a Cadillac Escalade for this kind of money. Got a naturally aspirated V8 and a name that has been around for decades. Or if you want performance, you can get a BMW X7 with a twin turbo V8. So this, very different with a twin turbo V6, and it's not the most highest end brand. Infiniti is a sub-brand of Nissan, so basically their vehicle just loaded up to be luxurious. That is going to definitely be in the eyes of the beholder. What do you guys think? Would you drop over 100 grand on the new QX80 when there is competition from Cadillac and BMW that are certainly really good options? This does ride very good. It is smooth. This engine packs a punch. It gets up and moves. It can tow a lot. It's got all the amenities, the luxury features. So it really does have what a jumbo luxury SUV is supposed to have. So I think it really is going to come down to, are you willing to try something a little different, a little off the beaten path from the big boys in this category? But there is my 2 weeks with this vehicle. It's been pretty cool. It has definitely been a nice ride and a lot different than what I'm used to, given it is such a large jumbo family SUV. But comment below, what are your guys' thoughts on Infiniti's newest QX80? Do you think this is worth it? You think this is gonna be one of the big vehicles in this category? Comment below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. That is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content, and I'll see you all in the next video.